A very good afternoon to you, and thank you for joining us. This is JoyNews Today. My name is Denisia Pomaiji. In our headlines, PURC reveals electricity tariffs fall short of covering costs, leaving the government to provide an additional $92 million monthly to sustain power supply.
So every year, before our lights can be kept on consistently for 12 months, the Ministry of Finance must cough out money to ensure that we pay for the cost of all this fuel.
The Attorney General files a motion opposing an application by lawyers for Chairman Wontumi seeking to delay judgment in the Samreboy concession case. We have details. Also, angry NPP supporters demand immediate dismissal of former flag-bearer aspirant Kennedy Japan, accusing him of making public comments that they say undermine party unity.
Without Kennedy Japan, we don't even understand what is so special about Kennedy Japan. They don't want to tell the truth.
Details as the leadership of the opposition party refers a series of petitions to its disciplinary committee for a 2-week investigation into the matter. And tomorrow night, it is Ghana versus Croatia, with confidence soaring in the Ghana camp after the impressive draw against England. We have details as the Black Stars arrive in Philadelphia ahead of tomorrow night's showdown. And later, football through a different lens. We bring you the story of how visually impaired Ghanaians are following the World Cup through sound, emotion, and imagination.
Well, I've always been interested in football. You know, when I was a little boy, when I could see, I used to play football. I think football is a national passion. Almost every Ghanaian grows loving football.
Remember, we're live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, and on all socials, we are JoyNews on TV and also around the world at myjoyonline.com. Please stay for details. Welcome. It's an absolute delight to have you back. The Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PURC, has revealed that the electricity tariffs paid by consumers are not enough to cover the cost of keeping the lights on, leaving the Ministry of Finance to bridge the gap. Speaking on PM Express Business Edition, the Commission's Executive Secretary, Dr. Shafiq Suleiman, said maintaining a stable electricity supply throughout the year requires continuous financial support from the government.
Then we are also paying to the Jubilee Partners gas supply, and we are also paying N-Gas, and we are using all that, I think, for the accounts I've seen, to pay and sustain that part. And that's actually what is keeping the lights on.
And this has dropped the debt significantly, if I should have said.
Dropped the debt significantly. Now, that's what I'm saying. It's not a debt. So the government had to go and borrow to come and sustain the power sector. So let's say,
borrow when there was.
So every year, before our lights can be kept on consistently for 12 months, the Ministry of Finance must cough out money to ensure that we pay for the cost of all these fuels.
For a month or for every month? So
every month, on average, is $92 million. As we speak, it's $92 million. So when you see your lights on for 30 days, what it means is that aside the tariff we are paying, the Ministry of Finance is also putting in $92 million to make the lights.
Meanwhile, the Commission is facing growing backlash from businesses and households over the recent increase in electricity and water tariffs. We interacted with some residents and business owners in Kumasi. Well, let's move on to some other stories. Authorities have begun clearing the large volumes of refuse that accumulated at the Kaneshie market. The intervention comes days after JoyNews reported on the overflowing waste, which disrupted business and heightened environmental health concerns. Michelle Lati has more.
2 days after JoyNews highlighted the deteriorating sanitation situation at the Kaneshie market complex, Zoom Lion workers and heavy equipment have been deployed to the area, and they are clearing the accumulated waste at the entrance of the market. While the cleanup exercise offers some kind of relief to the market users, the stench from the decomposing waste lingers in the area. Market users say they are pleased with the current intervention, and they hope that routine collection takes place at this particular area so that there's not a return of the current situation.
We are
grateful to the authorities, but we plead that they shouldn't let this reoccur. We cannot stand the stench when it piles up. If they continue, our business will flourish.
They
should always come and pick it up when it's full.
I heard the landfill sites are full, but I think they have found a place to dispose of it now. I'm pleased with the collection. They should not allow it to pile up again. We easily get sick. They should bring in additional containers to take up the waste. They usually clear it, but it is unfortunate that this happened. We are happy that they are clearing it finally.
Authorities are urging market users to adhere to sanitation regulations and also dispose of waste responsibly. For JoyNews, Michelle Latte, Kaneshi Market.
On sanitation, but this time in Kumasi, President of the Tariff Federation of Traders, Nana Kwesi Prempeh, has painted a worrying picture of the worsening sanitation crisis within Kumasi's central business district. He has detailed how a combination of poor structural planning coupled with inadequate infrastructure and economic choices are driving severe public health risk in the enclave. Nana Kwesi Prempeh observed that the central business district's biggest solid and liquid waste challenges stem from rapid architectural transformation that completely lacks municipal planning. There's more in this report by Ohim Interior.
It is now common to see high-rise buildings of at least 5 stories replace detached and semi-detached buildings in the central business district of Adum. President of the Tariff Federation of Traders, Nana Prempeh, observed that high-rise buildings, which sometimes house between 20 and 30 stores, each have no corresponding upgrade to the drainage system. He reviewed existing drainage channels, have houses built on them or covered up to make way for new structures. This development, he says, has compounded the sanitation situation in the central business district.
Because of the kind of buildings that currently they are erecting in the central business district, usually used to be low-lying buildings, but currently the high-rise buildings, it should have come with corresponding drainage system. I have a document in which it has been recommended to the Assembly and the Local Government Ministry that the drainage system within the central business district has outlived its purpose. And with the advent of these high-rise buildings in the central business district, there is no corresponding drainage system to it. So certain areas where there used to be some drains, now they have all been turned into buildings. They have been covered. So that contributes to the poor drainage system.
Nana Prempeh reviewed how widespread the practice of traders using makeshift containers and plastic bottles to ease themselves inside their shops has become. He told the host of Love in the Morning show, David Akwete, the situation is due to inadequate and poorly maintained public restroom facilities between the Dr. Mensah area through Kejetia and Adum. The situation, he noted, has worsened as cleaners of the Kejetia markets are always forced to deal with plastic bottles that serve as makeshift urinals.
From Apejafie, you see now that place has become highly populated. From Apejafie area, that will slow down to Dr. Mensah, getting to old SAT. That is where, SAT area. Where do you find a washroom? Where will you find any convenient place to ease yourself? So definitely the inadequacy of it, and you see a lot of people, a lot of traders by the roadside. Definitely they will have an alternative, and that alternative is
the drains.
The drains, either the drains or the new trend which the men are using is the bottles. the plastic bottles. You empty the water bottle, then you put it inside. Even the modernized market, KGTR currently, we had a meeting with those cleaning. They tell you a lot of people are now, you see some bottles, you decide to go and pick. Hey, you see urine.
However, Nana Prempeh acknowledged that certain pockets within the Adum enclave, such as the banking zones, the Poku trading area, and sections in front of Melcom on Prempeh the First Street, remain clean. He attributed this to strict private control. For JoyNews, Ohime Terrier's report read to you.
Let's head to the markets now. The price of ginger has surged in Ghana's markets, forcing traders to record falling sales and leaving consumers to cut back on a commodity many rely on for cooking and home remedies. At the Malam, Atta and Nima markets in Accra, traders say rising costs have pushed some customers away, while others who once bought in larger quantities now purchase much smaller portions. Deborah Enimwabedu reports.
A key ingredient in Ghanaian kitchens and a popular natural remedy, ginger, is used in soups, stews, local drinks, and for treating common ailments such as coughs and colds. But its rising cost is creating challenges for both traders and consumers. At the Malamata and Nima markets, sellers say prices have increased sharply in recent weeks. This, they say, is affecting demand and reducing sales.
3 million. We used to buy ginger for 300 cedis, but now it's cost about 900 cedis. It spoils quickly, and we are appealing for government support.
The money that I used to buy 3 sacks now buys only one. A sack that sold for 2,500 cedis to 3,500 cedis now costs about 6,500 cedis. We keep making losses.
6,500. Consumers are not excited about the increase. They say it's adding pressure to household budgets, forcing many to reduce the quantity they buy, despite the importance of the ingredients in their daily lives.
10 cedis worth of ginger only lasts a few days because the quantity is now very small.
I use ginger in soup, stews, and for steaming meat. Even 10 Ghana cedis worth is now expensive.
I use ginger in my porridge business. What 100 cedis used to buy can no longer meet my needs, forcing me to spend much more.
Traders also blame production challenges, including concerns over fertilizer use and reduced shelf life, which they say causes some of the ginger to get spoiled before they are sold.
The excessive use of fertilizer is affecting ginger production.
We are struggling to afford stock and have suffered repeated losses. We are appealing for financial support to help sustain our businesses.
Once an affordable kitchen essential, ginger is now reflecting the wider impact of rising food prices on households across Ghana. For JoyNews, Deborah Enimwabedu's report read to you.
Now to politics. Some angry supporters of the New Patriotic Party have demanded the immediate dismissal of former flag-bearer aspirant Kennedy Japan, accusing him of making public comments they say have the tendency to undermine the unity of the party ahead of the 2028 general elections. The supporters, who stormed the Alisa Hotel, where the party's leadership was holding a crucial joint meeting of the National Executive Committee and the National Council, were seen holding flyers bearing inscriptions such as "Ken must go," while chanting slogans calling for disciplinary action against the outspoken politician. There's more in the following report.
A
A small group of party supporters gathered outside the auditorium where the rank and file of the NPP had assembled to deliberate on petitions seeking disciplinary action against Kennedy Ohene-Agyapong. One of the protesters was Issa Tofik.
This party can do without Kennedy Agyapong. We don't even understand what is so special about Kennedy Agyapong. The NEC don't want to tell the truth. The same this NEC kick Kobina and Afoku. Why they cannot kick Kennedy? He have to go. Because he have to go. He have to go. He have to go. He have to go and leave this party because what he's saying is killing this party.
In recent weeks, Kennedy Agyapong has launched a series of sharp attacks on sections of the NPP leadership, at times warning that he could expose the party. Those comments have triggered several petitions from party members, including some members of parliament. The party's National Executive Committee and National Council spent more than 5 hours behind closed doors discussing the matter and determining the way forward. National organizer Henry Nanabuachi says the petitions came from both members of parliament and party members.
Oh yes, we had petitions from some individuals, party people, and then also even some members of parliament. So constitutionally and procedurally, National Executive Committee and National Council referred the matter to the Discipline Committee, which is chaired by Honorable Mokata, former Roads Minister.
He disclosed that the NEC and National Council have referred the petitions to the party's disciplinary committee.
The most important thing is that the report from the disciplinary committee will be a subject matter for NEC and the National Council to consider afterwards. And that is where we can really speak to it. So, as it stands now, the position is that we have referred all petitions received regarding Honorable Kennedy Agyapong's comment to the National Discipline Committee, and we have given them 2 weeks because we wanted to really make sure that in 2 weeks we deal with this matter.
The NEC also discussed preparations for the July constituency elections and approved modalities for the exercise.
We have open nominations. In fact, some are even going through their vetting processes. We anticipate very smooth, very clean exercise. We have already formed an elections committee headed by some national, representatives. And so far, I think that it's been very good. It's been very clean, and we are expecting smooth elections, just as we have experience with the presidential primaries and then the polling station elections.
The expectation now is that the disciplinary committee will investigate the matter and bring closure to the controversy. Michael Ashali's report, read to you.
Let's head to the courts. The Office of the Attorney General has mounted a strong opposition to an application seeking to delay judgment in the ongoing criminal trial involving the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Bernard Entry-Boisiakon, popularly known as Chairman Buntumi, over alleged illegal mining activities at the Samreboy concession. His newly appointed lawyer, Samuel Atachia, filed a motion at the Criminal Division of the Accra High Court asking the court to postpone its judgment to allow him sufficient time to familiarize himself with the proceedings and trial records before filing his written address. Legal Affairs correspondent Fatal Bayaga has more in this News Desk report.
According to court documents, Samuel Atachia argued that a sudden change of counsel at this critical stage had left the accused persons without adequate legal preparation for the final phase of the proceedings. He also invoked Article 19 of the 1992 Constitution, arguing that the accused persons are entitled to a fair hearing, which includes effective legal representation at every stage of criminal proceedings. Mr. Atachia further told the court that despite filing a notice of appearance and requesting certified copies of the case records, the registrar had not yet made the documents available, limiting his ability to review the proceedings. He maintained that the application was not intended to delay justice but to ensure adequate preparation and fairness before judgment is delivered. However, the Attorney General's office has asked the court to dismiss the request and allow the case to proceed to judgment. According to the prosecution, a 13-paragraph affidavit in opposition was filed on Thursday, June 25, by Senior State Attorney Nana Ama Prempe. The affidavit argues that the application lacks merit because the accused persons had legal representation throughout the trial, and the withdrawal of their former lawyer was voluntary rather than the result of circumstances beyond the counsel's control. The prosecution further contends that Mr. Atachia's decision to seek the case records directly from the court registry instead of obtaining them from the previous lawyer was not made in good faith. It therefore maintains that the application should be dismissed so the trial can proceed to judgment without further delay.
Now, government is optimistic that when the Tema oil refinery becomes fully operational, along with the completion of phase 2 of the Sento refinery, Ghana will not only become self-sufficient in refined petroleum products, but will also be able to export some to neighboring countries. Speaking at a ceremony to cut the sword for phase 2 of the Sento oil refinery project, which will increase the refinery's production capacity from 40,000 to 100,000 barrels per day, President Mahama said that the future will strengthen Ghana's currency and create opportunities for thousands of young Ghanaians. Presidential Affairs correspondent Maxwell Agbagba reports.
According to the executive chairman of Sentio Group, Zun Nkwan, Ghana's quest to become a major petroleum hub in West Africa will receive a significant boost with expansion of the Sentio oil refinery. He says the multi-million-dollar investment is expected to increase the country's refining capacity, reduce dependence on imported petroleum products, create jobs, and strengthen energy security. He says the expansion marks another important step towards positioning Ghana as a key player in the region's downstream petroleum industry. President Mahama announced that Explorco, the exploration arm of GNPC, is set to begin onshore drilling in the Voltairean Basin before the end of 2026 to explore oil reserves in the area identified as having petroleum potential.
More importantly, this project positions Ghana to meet growing domestic and regional energy demand while enhancing our competitiveness within the West African sub-region. This milestone comes at a particularly important moment in our national journey. I'm also happy to report that Explorco, which is the operating arm of GNPC, is poised to begin onshore drilling in the Voltairean Basin before the end of this year. And when I say onshore, it means on land. Offshore, so far all our discoveries have been offshore in the sea. We've discovered a lot of potential onshore, and so GNPC is going to, through Explorco, start drilling wells to explore that oil before the end of this year. And as President, I look forward to the day where Ghana achieves a high degree of self-sufficiency in the supply of refined petroleum products. And I look forward to the day when a revitalized Tema oil refinery works alongside efficient private sector refineries such as Sento to meet domestic demand and serve other regional markets. And this is what the minister talked about. When Sento finishes phase 2 and Tema oil refinery is fully operational, we will have more than enough to feed local demand, and we shall export the rest to our neighboring countries. That future will strengthen our currency, it will improve our balance of payments, it will deepen industrial capacity, it will create opportunities for thousands of young Ghanaians, and it will firmly establish Ghana as a leading petroleum, manufacturing, and industrial hub in West Africa.
Energy and Green Transition Minister George Napo commended the expansion of the Sento oil refinery as an important boost to Ghana's energy security and industrial growth.
Before His Excellency assumed office, our own refinery was down. From 2021, the refinery had been idling. It got to a stage where the then government decided that they would give it out for 22 million. When we assumed office, Mr. President said, no, turn this refinery around. Today, we are producing about 28,000 barrels from our own refinery. And when you put when Sento completes their work and Tema oil refinery peaks based on the work we are doing, not only are we going to be self-sufficient, we are going to export the excess that we produce here in this country. But to do that, we must increase oil production. And I'm happy to note that following 6 years of continuous oil decline when it comes to production, This year we are turning it around and we are going to increase our own oil production.
President John Mahama is set to begin a two-day tour of the Central region, and Presidential Affairs correspondent Maxwell Agbagba joins us with more. Maxwell, give us details of the president's tour.
Well, the president's activities started this morning with Asim Breku in the Asim North District. He's currently addressing a Deba of chiefs and residents, and in some minutes he will be cutting the sod for a new 24-hour economy market. Indeed, we know that these markets, he has stated that will be constructed in all of Ghana's district. And today, Asim Breku in Asim North District, he will cut the sod for a new 24-hour economy market, right after addressing the Deba of chiefs and residents. Now, he's accompanied by key sector ministers and government appointees. He's expected to also inspect several ongoing infrastructure projects, including 4 road projects in the Central region. Now, President Mahama would later be in the Abrase Bukwamankesi district. There, he will commission a CHIPS compound and present free primary healthcare kits to support service delivery at the community level. President Mahama is also scheduled to visit the Cape Coast Castle, where he's expected to promote heritage tourism there. The tour will conclude tomorrow, and just like we've witnessed in the other regions that he's visited, there'll be a citizens' engagement where citizens would have the opportunity to ask him questions. He would also present to the residents of the Central region what his government has been up to since it took over the reins of governance. So that would happen at a Palm Junction tomorrow.
Okay, Maxwell, how was the president received?
Well, at the Asim Breku in the Asim North District, where it has been his first port of call, a lot of the residents are quite excited about the market. They believe that the construction of the 24-hour market is going to open up the community. It's going to get more people, to visit and also encourage trading in the community. And that's what a lot of the residents are really excited about. President Mahama himself believes that this 24-hour economy market would expand, the productivity and the economic base of these communities that are benefiting from this 24-hour economy market. And he's been speaking about some of the features of the market. He talked about police station. He talked about a fire service station. He talked about a kindergarten for children.
All right, Maxwell. Maxwell, thank you so much for joining us. The president seems to have a very packed day today. Moving on, the Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim, is calling on Parliament to investigate the One Constituency, One Astro initiative introduced by the Akufo-Addo administration over alleged lack of transparency in the award of contracts. The minister revealed that while some of the contracts were awarded by multiple state institutions and handed over to individuals who are currently benefiting from proceeds of the project at the expense of the government, others were awarded without the necessary supporting documentation. Answering questions in Parliament, Ahmed Ibrahim alleged that the program was used as a campaign tool ahead of the 2024 elections.
Astro tests, just as my honorable colleagues wanted to know, were mixed up, which the Minister for Youth and Sports did not even have control or accountability. Projects were done by GNPC, given to private persons. Some done by Ghana Gas, given to private persons. Some done by other energy institutions, given to private persons. Some GNPC will award, DACF will award, then they will go and be competing for who should do it in that part. So that is why I didn't want to go deep. And I said, once they were not awarded by the Minister of Local Government, I was unable to go further. However, I've been talking to the Minister for Youth and Sports, Honorable Kofi Adams, that he should take stock of all the Astro tests in the country. Then they will be under the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Recreation, so that they will be controlled by. But when you put government money into an Astro theft. Then you give it to a private person. Then he will be giving it out. 2 hours, you pay 200. Some 2 hours, you pay something. And this does not go into Ghana government coffers. And yes, and some of those projects were awarded by word of mouth. No documents to cover them. So if you are given a contract and there are no documents, how do we account for the contract? Some people, because of the elections, some people were out to go and start, we'll regularize it. They started and there are no contract documents. So now they don't know where to go. One of them is in Man District, where a bridge was connecting Ghana to Ivory Coast. No document. Some were under DACF, some were under Ghana Guards, some were under GMPC, some were under Bui Power Authority, and Astro became a campaign tool. So some institutions awarded 3 to certain constituencies. Meanwhile, there's one park. They go there, no land. Some don't even have documents. So Parliament may even have to come in. Parliament must come in for us to be able to go and investigate some of those things, to be able to complete them. Then those that are being overtaken by individuals, we have to confiscate them and give them to the state. So, Mr. Speaker, there's a job to be done.
The walls closed in on some of Kumasi's most notorious drug dens as police officers in the Ashanti region swept through the city in a dawn crackdown, arresting suspected kingpins and seizing sacks of suspected narcotics. Among those arrested, a national service person who was allegedly caught with cannabis-infused drinks. The operation is part of an intensified nationwide crackdown on illicit drug networks. Emmanuel Bright-Kweku joins me live with details of the statement from the police in the Ashanti region. Emmanuel, this appears to be one of the biggest anti-drug operations in the Ashanti region in recent times. But just how extensive was the police operation?
All right, so Omar, in fact, according to a release by the police, the Ashanti region command of the police, signed by the head of the public affairs unit, DSP Godwin Ahianyo, it noted that a coordinated operation has been carried out in the Asawase, Asafo and Krofrum, and also Duase as well as Wokrum. And in fact, they carried out a series of these operations in the various suburbs, and in fact in the Asawase area, the police team arrested a notorious drug peddler. He has been identified as Kwame Efriye, and he is age 61. He's popularly known as Corn Papa. In fact, the police uncovered some 33 and 48 parcels of compressed substances suspected to be cannabis, following a search in his room and a provision shop. And also at Asafo, a suspect, Kofi Echampong, was taken into custody for holding 311 transparent rubber sachet and 13 compressed parcels of suspected narcotic dried leaves and 10 rubber paper wraps containing a black rock substance suspected to be narcotics in his room. In fact, the police retrieved various restricted pharmaceutical products in his possession. In fact, the law enforcement campaign has been extended also to the Atonsu and Bokro and Krofrum Kenyase and also Asokwa and Asafo Bibi. This additional raids also led to the arrest of some 10 other suspected peddlers. A total of the seized exhibits included a compressed parcel of suspected cannabis, tramadol, ecstasy tablets, amphetamine tablets, also suspected cocaine and other various controlled substances. And so these were some of the items that were retrieved by the police in the area, Puma.
All right, thank you so much, Emmanuel Bright-Kweku, for bringing us that detailed report. Let's talk about the FIFA World Cup. For many football lovers, the excitement comes from watching every pass, tackle and goal. But for people living with visual impairment, the beautiful game is experienced very differently through commentary, sound, emotion and imagination. With the World Cup capturing the attention of millions around the globe, JoyNews' Annetta Adams spent time with some visually impaired Ghanaians to understand how they are sharing in the excitement of football's biggest festival. Here's a report read to you.
Oh, what a sweet strike!
For many visually impaired football fans, these sounds bring the game to life. They may not see the passes, free kicks, goals, or celebrations, but through commentary, crowd reactions, and shared experience, they follow every moment, the rhythm, tension, and emotion of the match. Dr. Obeng Asamoah, director of the Ghana Blind Union, was not born blind. He lost his sight after developing a condition at age 18. But his love for football remains strong.
I've always been interested in football. You know, when I was a little boy, when I could see, I used to play football. I think football is a national passion. Almost every Ghanaian grows loving football. So I've always loved it. When I could see that was different, I could see it fine. Now that I can't see, you know, there's always some kind of commentary. Yeah, so you get to know which players are possessing the ball more, the excitement in the commentator's voice. Yeah, and you know the moves. So when they say like they've crossed the ball from left to right, or there's the movement at the center, or there's a shot at goal, yeah, you go with the moment. The excitement and thrill of the moments. For us blind people, that's what it is. When we're sitting in front of the screen and we're hearing the commentary, you can actually picture it in your mind. So actually, you are watching it. There's a lot of ignorance out there, you know. A lot of people don't understand blindness. A lot of people think that when you're blind, it means you're in the dark and that you don't have access to any information and that you don't know what's happening around you. But that's not the case. We have other senses. So for example, our sense of hearing is quite keen and we're able to feel the excitement, to feel the moment.
46-year-old Abdul Razak Yusuf is another visually impaired football fan. A social worker and father of two, his love for the Black Stars began in childhood when he could not see. He once played the game himself. At 17, he lost his sight, but he never lost his connection to football. Over the years, Razak says he has learned to read the game through sounds, the pace of commentary, the reaction of supporters, and the changing mood around him. But not everyone follows the game through commentary alone. For Wilhelmina, a visually impaired LLB student and entrepreneur, family plays a central role in her match day experience. The national anthem tells her something important is about to begin. Silence in the room signals tension. When supporters erupt, her emotions rise with theirs. And when the team scores, she celebrates fully.
I love football. It's because, you know, it gives you this feeling of hyping, and then you get to know Ghana, you get to know about other teams. You know, because I'm visually impaired, I rely on what the commentator will say. And some of my friends, that feeling that, hey, Ghana must do best so that you can also feel proud as a Ghanaian, that thing. Yeah, you come out and, especially in your t-shirt, when I'm in my t-shirt, a Ghana t-shirt, then I have that spirit, you know, and when the anthem is being played before the match, it also it gives me that calm feeling. Sometimes I do forget I'm visually impaired.
For Dr. Obeng, Razak, and Wilhelmina, loss of sight has not meant loss of passion. Through commentary, memory, imagination, and the support of family and friends, they remain fully part of the World Cup experience. Their message is simple. Football is not only for those who can see it. Sometimes the game is just as powerful when it is heard, felt, and imagined. For JoyNews, Anita Adams reports, read to you.
Let's now head to the Mundial because Ghana is meeting Croatia tomorrow in a very crucial game. Joy Sports editor Daniel Krante has been following the Black Stars. He's with them at the camp. Daniel, what is the atmosphere like in camp ahead of tomorrow's very decisive game?
Yeah, slowly building up. As you know, the Black Stars already have 1 foot in the round of 32, but avoiding defeat against Croatia will just seal Ghana's qualifications to the round of 32. The team arrived in Philadelphia yesterday. They had a training session in Rhode Island yesterday. Then they took off to Philadelphia. They arrived settled in emotions. It's not been too much activity at the team camp, but they are set to have a training session later today in just a couple of hours' time. That's the mandatory open training session. So 50 minutes of that will be available for the media to cover. And then the head coach, Carlos Queiroz, will have a press conference. That's a pre-match press conference ahead of the game. The good thing is that in yesterday's training session, all 26 players trained. We are still not sure about the fitness levels or where Atizigi is in terms of his fitness. But he was part of that training session yesterday. So that's some good news for the Black Stars as the goalkeeper continues to build his fitness ahead of Saturday's game.
We've also seen confidence growing since the draw with England. So what are you picking up from the players and the technical team?
Look, the players especially are confident. They are full of high spirit. And you can understand that, first of all, how it's not just the fact that Ghana beat Panama, but it's how they did it in the last minute. And that gives the team some bit of confidence. Then they go out against England and prevent one of the best attacking teams in the world from scoring a goal. So that certainly boosted their confidence. We've been speaking to some of the players, but you can tell their focus is now on the Croatia game. Yes, they know that they've done they've played 2 really good games against Panama and England, but the focus has shifted on Croatia, because if you are monitoring what is happening on the third place tables, as we know, 8 out of the 12 groups will have third place teams going through to the round of 32, and that is looking a bit dicey because quite a number of teams have 4 points, and goal difference could be a separating factor for the teams that could go home or stay in the competition. So yes, Ghana has 4 points plus 1 goal, but they know that if they lose against Croatia in a manner which is not necessarily the best, Ghana could head home. So the focus is back on the Croatia game, trying to get the all-important result in that game and hopefully qualify for the round of 32.
All right, thank you so much, Daniel Krante. He's in Philadelphia in the Black Stars camp ahead of that very crucial game tomorrow. But let me take you to Kumasi because fans are expectant about the game tomorrow. Let's hear what they have to say.
I think that generally it's been an okay performance. Tactically, we've been very disciplined. We've managed to hold our own against a great footballing nation like the Faroe Islands of England, possessing one of the best, if not the best striker in the world in the shape of Harry Kane. Collectively, England as a team, they have a lot of quality in there. Surprisingly, in fact, a lot of people were expecting them to have beaten us, probably like 2 or 3 goals. But we really need to commend the technical team. I think they did a great job. How they managed to nullify the threat of Hurricane in the rest of the team. We have to commend our boys as well as the technical team. And I believe going forward, that's vital point. In a way, has positioned us at a very advantageous position to really advance to the next stage of the competition. And I expect that at least we should be able to get to the quarterfinal stage of the.
Well, we wish the Black Stars the very best in that game tomorrow. Up next is business. Please to stay with us.
Welcome back. Let's do some business here. I am Michelle Ajakum. Now, Project Director of the Ghana Private Sector Competitiveness Program Phase 2, Line Sophie Atsa, has reaffirmed the program's commitment to strengthening skills development across Ghana's agricultural value chain following the signing of a memorandum of understanding with the University of Cape Coast and UC Brass Ghana Limited.
The Memorandum of Understanding signed by the Ghana Private Sector Competitiveness Program Phase 2, the University of Cape Coast, and UC Brass Ghana Limited seeks to address long-standing challenges within Ghana's cashew sector. The agreement will establish a training program aimed at equipping students of the university and players in the cashew value chain with the technical skills required to improve productivity and meet export standards. Speaking at the signing ceremony, Project Director of the Ghana Private Sector Competitiveness Program Phase 2, Line Sophie Atsa, said the initiative forms part of the program's broader objective of promoting private sector growth through targeted skills development.
On behalf of NERAS also, that we are really excited about this partnership, and we look very much forward to seeing the collaboration unfolding, and we would also like to get started.
You know, vocational and technical training in Africa is such a much needed offering, and it has a lot of challenges, and we believe that this opportunity where you get the industry, a leader in the industry to kind of come in and contribute to that exercise.
Acting Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, Professor Dennis Wolanyo Aheto, described the agreement as a significant opportunity for the university to deepen its engagement within the agricultural sector.
We will make sure that the curriculum that is intended to be developed is mainstream in our academic work, so that the areas within the colleges, maybe agriculture, the Department of Agribusiness and all that, we try to see how we integrate the outcomes of it, so that the young ones can also begin to learn more about this crop and other important cash crops such as rice and others that will come along the line with the implementation of the project, so that cashew crop production value chain development becomes one of the big case studies that we can work on as a university, especially at the School of Agriculture.
As part of efforts to strengthen Ghana's cashew industry, the GPSCP Phase 2 also paid a working visit to Rosewood, a cashew processing company. The program supported the company with HACCP certification and provided modern packaging equipment to help it meet international export requirements and increase production capacity.
Away from that, environmental, social, and governance principles are becoming increasingly critical to the long-term sustainability and competitiveness of Ghana's private sector. This is according to the Integrated ESG Program for Ghana representative at IFC, Damilola Sobo-Smith. There's more in this report.
The International Finance Corporation, a member of the World Bank Group, hosted a high-level ESG roundtable for development partners in Ghana. The environmental and social risk management specialist at IFC, Damilola Sobo-Smith, emphasized on the relevance of assessing ESG risks in Ghana's financial sector.
So what we're seeing in Ghana is that the regulators are coming together and recognizing that there is benefit in this coordination on environmental and social risks. So Bank of Ghana, for example, since 2020, have had the Ghana Sustainable Banking Principles, which is a framework, which is a sector-level framework that requires the financial sector to implement or to have environmental and social risk management frameworks. And then we're seeing even into extending this to coordination within the other financial regulators. And we're seeing that there's a coordination on creating frameworks and creating these principles that guide the sector into adopting these environmental and social best practices.
And that's all for business here. I am Michelle Ejekun. Please stay for Showbiz.
And it's time now for Showbiz. I am Lois Shola Ademi. Let's get into our stories. Now, after 25 years in Ghana's music industry, gospel musician Grace Ashley says she would make a different career choice if she had the chance to start over. Now, the veteran singer revealed that she would have pursued her music career abroad, where she believes stronger royalty systems better protect and reward artists. Now, she lamented that despite decades of active service to the industry, she has not received any royalties from GAMRO in the past 18 years, renewing concerns about royalty distribution and the welfare of musicians in Ghana.
If there's opportunity, I think I would choose US.
So if you were supposed to start this all over again, you rather want to be doing it from there?
Yes.
Why?
I want to start from there because reading about them, you know, there are a lot of things they get that we can't even get access to here. When you talk of even royalties in Ghana, for the past 18 years, I've never received anything called royalty. 18
you have done this for 25 years.
So if I have
not
to
even
depend,
a dime.
Not even a dime.
Your songs have
not even a dime. So if I have to depend on it, and let's see that if I'm in US right now, as you know, and the way that songs and other things are going, you can imagine, you don't need to talk about it. The reality will even let you know that this is it, you know. But here, it's not about that.
Yeah. So it means we have a serious broken structure here in the industry.
It's not straight.
Well, that's it for Showbiz. I am Lois Shola Ademi. For more entertainment stories, please do log on to myjoyonline.com. Over to you, Poma.
Thank you, Lois, for bringing us Showbiz. That's it for JN today. For more news, I know two places, My Joy Online and the others. My name is Denisia Poma J. Have a very lovely weekend.